This should be a rhythm, right?
Isn't it a rhythm?
It's a rhythm, but what I'm saying, we should get like Beanie Man, Major Hype, Bounty Killer.
All right. You're stretching it. But anyway, you're stretching it. But anyway,
Loving There, you know what I mean? Tiger.
What you talking about? Hello.
Sprague Benz.
Sir, we in 2022. You're talking Loving There 1990 something, 80 something.
What are you trying to say? Loving There don't have skills?
Hello, them people out of the game. What are you talking about? Before we just start talking randomly, good night.
Shelly Thunder.
Good night, Shelly Thunder. That's my sister. Sam, please play catch up. Go on YouTube and see what happening now. Shelly Thunder is my sister. Shelly Thunder been out of the game for quite some. Come on, Sam.
I'm
talking Shelly Thunder, Loving There, Tiger. Hey, stop with the singing of the people tune, bro. We get flag already with that. Stop. We got flagged. We don't want that. Yes, we got flagged.
All right. Cool out now.
Cool, but I'm saying it almost every week.
Cool out, cool in, cool left. Right.
So before we start, let me first say good night to everybody joining us. Whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or you're checking out this program on YouTube sometime in the future. First of all, welcome you to the show. Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening and a wonderful life. Good evening, people. How are you doing this evening, Sister Karin?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. I am good. I'm good.
That's right.
I'm good. Mr. Archer, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm very fabulous this evening. Fabulous. Very fabulous.
All right, I see you're wearing a hat there. I don't know if it's one of your thing, but we're not seeing. Yeah, you would have to do that in order for us to see the
hybrid executive. Yeah,
it's on top of your head. Maybe if you could pull it a little forward.
The information is in my head, so on top, on the side, it all around now. So
that's a hat for New York. If you're walking on the street and somebody looking out the window.
Yeah, and so well, it works really good with what those things that be flying over now? What they call them?
Drones.
Yeah, drone. You know what I mean? So you can see it coming through real powerful.
Good night.
Darling,
Dr. Judith.
What you say?
Pumpkin pie.
Blows and skirt in its place.
Come to your light. There we go.
All right. Yeah, look, you tell me to call upstairs to call you, so I call upstairs.
And you showed up.
So I'm happy that you showed up because it's just to yell. Okay, and then you have to say it loud like you're yawning.
You want somebody box you.
I am so happy.
Everybody all right?
Yes. I'm so happy that you're able to join us on time tonight.
But guess what? I won't be long. I got to get some sleep.
You will never accept that statement from a man. This is part of what I don't like with you all. Sam, you think you could ever say that and get away with it?
What I said?
When you say it won't be long?
It won't be that long. I had to get some sleep. You think you could ever make that statement to a woman and get away with it?
Yeah, well, it's not a romantic thing to say.
Don't worry. Someone.
Yeah, if a lady going through the trouble to rock it with you that evening, then you're going to say, well, we won't be long. I'll get some sleep.
Sam will keep trying. Don't worry about Sam.
I don't think you're going to get away with that one, man.
So our job as men, when we hear them say it won't be long, we have to coax them into, but it's a psychological thing.
And they can't coax they just get vexed and grab the pillow and turn their back.
No, some of them just coax. It depends on who it is, because some of the women will coax you. They might be like, oh, he think it won't be long.
Where you come from this negativity?
Well, that is a nice topic that was brought up there that's going to segue nicely into our conversation tonight. We're talking about fights. We're talking about fights or flight. What are you willing to do? How much fighting are you willing to do? So Sam, we are at the top of the 5 minutes. Run the thing. Let me come back.
Run the thing.
Run it.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cup from Music by Tom Cups. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Showtime.
Hi, we are the Henry Boys.
I'm Joshua. I'm Daniel. And I'm Simone.
We're inviting you to read a copy of our father's book, Tiny Little Spider and Nursery Rhyme.
Hey, what do you mean a father's book? This is my book. I'm on the cover. Me, Imani.
But let's not forget our sister Imani started writing this book.
And our dad finished it. So get a copy.
For yourself or for your child.
Tiny Little Spider, a nursery rhyme by Curtis B. Henry and Imani Smith. Now available on Amazon.com.
With me, Imani. Spider Boy.
You know, I crack up every time I see this commercial. I am on the book. This is me.
Yeah, man, they're ready. They're ready. They're being prepped for bigger and brighter.
Your daughter is very pretty.
Excuse me?
Your daughter is very pretty. Okay. All right.
Tonight we're here to discuss people. Fight or flight. Let me pronounce that clearly once again. Fight. Or flight. How much is too much? Ask yourself, how much is too much? How long is too long? When is enough enough? Back in 2002, there was a movie starring Jennifer Lopez with the same title, Enough, where she played an abusive wife who refused to suffer silently, and she sought the help of family to no avail.
You said abusive wife? She was being abused.
Yes, she was an abused wife.
Abused, okay.
Yes. She eventually had to flee, and she studied Krav Maga to defend herself against her abusive husband. She eventually had to fight him and eventually killed him.
Wow.
But let us not forget for a minute that it's not just women who find themselves in this predicament. I've said this on the show before, lots of men worldwide are victims of domestic abuse and are too ashamed to discuss it or to seek help. Of course, there's a fear of being ridiculed by your peers or society as a whole. It doesn't matter what gender a person is. Abuse is abuse, and abusive people share a lot of similar traits like jealousy, constant suspicion, drastic mood swings. Now, let's not get it twisted and think that abuse is only a physical thing. There's also psychological and emotional abuse, where victims are embarrassed in the public for, like in front of your family, friends, or co-workers. calling somebody outside of their name, or threatening to do them harm. Have any of you ever been in a situation where you had to make the decision? First of all, let me ask Karin. Let me put this to you. Have you ever been in a situation where you have had to make that decision to fight or take flight?
I have. When I first thought of the topic, I was thinking just personal, but thinking workplace, New York, and the workplace, these conditions were so harsh. Understaffed, extreme full census, in a hospital setting, and just feeling like, nope, not dealing with this anymore. I'm not allowing these people to make me feel as if I'm not doing my best by my patients and stuff like that. So I had to really think about that, on a professional note. Yeah.
What about on the personal level?
Personal level? Well, it's a different sort of fight or flight for me. For me, on the personal level, would be I've met quite a few men down here who feel a need to voluntarily lie to me about certain things about themselves. And, upon finding out, I had to make the decision, you know what? Take care. Have a good life. Take care now.
Blocked and blessed.
Blocked and blessed.
Sam, as Karin mentioned, the workplace, I know you've been an entrepreneur for most of your life, but you've ever been in a work environment where someone tried to make you feel like you need to kowtow to them just being in their place of employment?
Yeah. You have people with egos, people with they need to have a testosterone check sometimes. They just want to show that they're dominant, just to be that they're dominant in the spot. Somehow, even though there's a budget that you're going to be getting paid throughout the year, somehow some of your co-workers might feel, nah, he taking my money. Let me get him out of here. Let's see if he's a good fit for inside here. And you either have to decide, do I want to stick around with this nonsense, or am I going to hit him between the eye? And flip down, right there. But as if you want to be on a general thing. But there's been relationships where I'm like, this is, you kind of have it up to here with it, and you just, you're gonna fight or you're gonna stay. You get to that point. Should I keep this, or should I rest it over here for somebody else? Like chicken pox, you just pass it on.
So, Dr. Judith, I know you don't kowtow to anybody. You're not one that easily buckle. You may bend if you deem necessary. But have you ever been, first of all, in a work environment where someone tried to pressure you as if this is all you have? If you don't have this job, you have nothing, because we define who you are. Or in a personal relationship. Talk to us about those two dynamics.
Common assault on the workforce. Common assault, usually from women. And I was talking to somebody today. I went through a period where about 4 or 5 women were determined to get me to lose my job. And they set up a whole lot of different things and lies and all sort of something and everyone come and I cut them down. I mean, literally, they come in
front. You slice them up and thing?
No, I never slap them.
You slap them?
Just verbally.
All right.
And lies, but I call them on it. And I don't kowtow well, as you say, because you have known me a long time. So that's happened not long ago. I was at the point where somebody wanted me out of the classroom where I was, and told my boss that they wanted me out of the classroom. And the boss said, well, I get quite a nice, can't think of the words, stipend or whatever, because I work with severely disabled children. So I get more than, the regular salary. So she was concerned that if I left the classroom, I would lose that money. I said, that's important to me. So, but let me tell you what's more important. Nobody chases me nowhere. That's what I told the supervisor. I said,
now, did you use a Jamaican accent? Or did you?
Come and go,
You get you the raw. I is everywhere.
But I told her, I said, nobody chases me. And she said, well, suppose I can get you the same, stipend. I said, the stipend is not the issue. I will not be moved. I have done nothing wrong, and I will not be moved. I will stay where I am. She might have to move, but I ain't going nowhere, my man. That's a Oliver line.
So on the personal side, Judith, I want you to come back in on this. It's often said that we heard this, we read it, we've been here. Love is blind. Many of us, we tend not to see faults in others early in relationships because we somehow believe that red flag that we saw is a mere slip up because we don't want it to be true. And because of love that we may feel for a person or the love that we believe that they have for us, that this person will change. Is love only blind or is it dumb as well?
I think love, first of all, I'm not sure it's love. But second of all, I think love is selectively blind and deaf and hard of hearing too. Everything else. I think we, especially women, we see exactly what we're getting into. But on some level, we determine we're going to fix the situation, usually the man. And if we just do this a little bit and do that a little bit and da-da-da-da. And the truth of the matter is that what we do is we imprison ourselves. Because if you have to work that hard to fix somebody, you're going to have to work very hard to keep them the way you fix them. And that's where I don't take flight. I run. I'm not dealing with not like that. I refuse to have to check up on somebody because I put them, it's like you say, sit down here now, sit down here and don't move. And every time I come up, you move. So if I fix you again, no star. So I've been very fortunate to learn that that was a terrible mistake. And I no longer have any desire to change anybody but me. So if somebody doesn't come already kind of close to what I want, then go and start. I mean, it's too much work. It's too much work.
Sure. So I think when people, you were talking about the issue of love, if it's blind and if it's dumb. I like that. I never heard that before. If it's blind and dumb. But what I would say is I think when someone has the inclination that they're in love, they might be in love, but if there's some sort of signal going on,
I've been in lust.
It cuts off other things. So so certain regular things, regular things that operate a certain way may not operate properly because now your attention, the attention is elsewhere. So if you see someone driving and not paying attention, they might be in love.
So then it is dumb as well. But I talk about the red flags, right? But we use that word a lot, red flags. Some of these red flags, let me see if I could pick some of them one by one. Boundaries. Where somebody have no respect for one's boundaries. Talk about boundaries for a minute and how some people tend to violate them without little or no regard for the other individual.
There's a well-known book, and part of the title is Boundaries. I can't remember the whole name of it, but part of what you're talking about, I believe that one of the greatest problems in especially romantic relationships is that it's not so much boundaries in general, it's people realize that they're entitled to set boundaries. People don't understand that they have a right to say, no, I don't like that. No, I'm not going to do that. People, in terms of self-esteem and their own value on themselves, it's not always the woman who doesn't know. And because sometimes the woman very much knows what she wants and will not accept anything less. But it's the man at times. So I think one of the greatest things about debate about boundaries in relationships is the realization, because I didn't know for a long time I could set boundaries. For a long time. Is that one of the biggest problems is that people do not, and then there are people who set boundaries that are so out of reach. It's so crazy that nobody can meet those, but nobody can deal with that kind of situation because their boundaries are so wild and so, far-reaching. But I think just as I started talking, it hit me. I think the biggest problem that we have, men and women, is not understanding that setting boundaries is healthy. And if you don't have any boundaries, I have a saying in the last couple of years that say when a person first hurt you or whatever, they hurt your feelings or they hurt you, first what they do is they put on a round toe boots and they kick you in your behind. And then when they realize that you take it and you have no complaints, they put on a pointed toe boot and kick you in your behind and draw blood. So the thing is that why does that happen to somebody? It happens because they're not aware that if you're not going to set boundaries, you must have some protective gear on your behind because somebody's going to kick you. And that is something that's very, 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 what do you call the word now? It happens a lot more than it doesn't happen.
Karin, I want you to kick in on this. I want to hear the banter between the women on this here.
I have no.
I decide I won't get argumentative tonight. I want us all to agree.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Stuff.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Let me hear the boundaries. Let me hear the thing with the boundaries between you all.
I have no problem setting boundaries with people, male or female. One of the boundaries I've always set with men, without even coming out and saying it, is give me a call if you want to come over. Do not show up uninvited, without any text, call, nothing.
So wait. I promise I'm not going to get.
At my door.
But let me ask you something. Hold on. You see, you hear you just say you're drawing me out. So let me ask you something. If me and you in a thing, we in a relationship, me and you, right? We decide we riding down here together. You trying to tell me I had to pick up the phone and say, baby, you're coming over, and I 2 blocks from you, I can't just come and ring the doorbell?
Miss,
I don't understand
send
that.
me a text or call me. Did I stutter?
I don't understand that. Why I have to sort of...
You don't have to understand it. You
pave the way. Why I have to pave the way before I make an entrance. I don't understand
just
that.
show
up. Is this for new relationships or this is something that... Because if you're into a scene, why you calling and making an announcement? You just fall in and it's going on the
road.
Worse yet, if I have a key, I turn in that any time of the day.
No,
one of the reasons
it is understood. You come when you want to. That's the point of having a key. I've given.
Oh, so when you get the key,
you don't have no key. I'm here, sit on don't just show up at the door and think me open.
But you could, women like it to be spontaneous sometimes. Women like it to just fall in and say, guess what? I'm at your front door.
But Judith, if I pull up by your house, the lights on, the car in the garage,
never choose me.
The car, that should be a privilege, right there. And the lights on, the car in the garage or in the driveway, and I pass by and I ring the bell, and you just decide to peep through the hole, like Karin just said, and you don't answer because I didn't have an invite to come over, and you and I supposed to be in a thing. Now you're setting up situations in my mind as to why you're not answering the door.
Watch here. Listen to this now. You just reminded me of something. I was not dating this person, but had started talking to him. There was another gentleman who was visiting me. I had a garage thing at the time. You couldn't see the vehicle, but must have lights or something. Showed up, called me, telling me blah, blah, blah. Look at here. Look at here. Continue on your way. You wasted your energy in coming in this direction.
So you had a gentleman and a gentleman caller.
Brethren, me and you know in a nothing. We just talk on phone. Me and you know, it's not like say me a double team. I say we talk on the phone. What you showing up at my door for? Don't do it. Don't do it. Call and say you're coming
So
over.
you are not okay. So this is just your preference.
Well, preference, rule, whatever you want to call it.
Boundaries.
I'm not saying because I don't think. Well, let me not say that because I can't talk for all men. But you may have a guy that might want to do something spontaneous and surprise you. So you're basically saying no surprises, you know, and it could be a genuine thing. You know, like they're going to do it every day, but, you know, once in a while, if you don't have the keys yet, according to you, and they say, you know, they pass somewhere, they thought about you, they pick up a piece of cake or a juice or a little flowers or something. Just pass and drop it off you and say, hey, you know, I thought about you. Here's this thing here. I mean, that's not something sweet to do for somebody.
Only if it's a box.
Yeah, give me a call and let me know you're coming.
You're still at the call, Sam.
Even though surprise me with whatever is in your hand.
Sam, the party and the cocoa bread hot, the juice cold, and you're still at a call and say, look, I bring you a party because I know you like to eat this party and cocoa bread.
It is not about the party and the cocoa bread.
So I have a couple of these to think on. Let me talk about isolation. That is where people keep somebody away from at least they attempt to keep you away from your friends and your family where, you know, you may not have that emotional support.
Because they're undercover.
And eventually what they try to do is destroy relationships. So that you only have them to depend on.
Different dynamic altogether. Okay. Because there's more than one dynamic to that, you know.
Talk to me.
You can know his friends, but you can't know him blood, in family. You understand? Or you can know some of his co-workers, but him not invited to him brethren, him bona fide. Him not. Because he might live a second life. That is one aspect of the isolation. You're talking about something totally different.
No, so what do you do in a situation like that, though? I want us to keep getting back to the topic. Where does the decision fall within this? Do you stay and fight, or do you take flight?
You know what I would do in that isolation situation? You know what I would do in that situation? I would play it back on him.
And what if it doesn't matter?
Listen, all I'm saying to you, you're asking a question, I'll give you an answer. I said, I don't want anybody around you, you know, because you're everything to me, and I don't want anybody around you.
Bull.
And then but you can't have it like that.
Depends on how long I've been seeing the person. If it's just, you know, a couple weeks, couple months, I certainly don't expect to meet family. You know, I'm not that person who wants to, let me meet your sister, you're this and that. It's all right.
I want to meet everybody the first date.
What?
The first date, I want to meet everybody.
No. Let's give it 6 months, a year, and then you still want to introduce me when we've gotten to that point.
Yeah. You want to meet everybody on the first date?
6 months.
Wait, hold up. So on your first date, Dr. Judith, they need to bring everybody to the date?
I must bring everybody. First, we're going to have a dinner thing. And then after we're done dinner, take me to his house and I meet everybody, granny, everybody. So then I can decide if I want to be bothered.
But the ones who isolate, the other dynamic that I think you were trying to get to, Curtis, the ones who isolate, I have personally seen that those are your future abusers, physical or sexual abusers. Those are the ones, or verbal abusers. Those are the ones who tend to isolate.
You're saying that if somebody needs a little downtime for themselves, that there's something else going on?
Not downtime.
They isolate you, not themselves.
They isolate you from your family and your friends work colleagues and so forth.
Right. So
that's a totally different dynamic than needing some special time with your special person. This person systematically creates space. They don't want to go out with you and your friends. They certainly do not want you to go out with you and your coworkers. If you invite them to a family get-together, they find a reason not to attend. Or if they attend, they have to hurry up and leave and change the vibes between you and your family. Like, what's up? Why
I don't know how.
So that's a different person.
I don't know how that would happen to me. And I'm being very serious. I don't know how somebody could get me to that place. I don't know.
To isolate you?
Yes.
Well, not everybody can be isolated, but some women are easily isolated.
But you know what? I sincerely believe that when people meet each other, I think we carry things on ourselves that says how far you can push a person. I think that women and men, we carry something you can say and say, yeah man, I can't work with this one.
This one me can lick, and she not gonna lick my back.
Yeah.
But
for me, I smile and I'm very joyful. And I lick you when I say I lick you. Can I go lick your
So wait, when we say lick now, we talking about like lick a lollipop or we licking?
No, use my hand and box you.
Or backhand it for more strength.
But the thing
that is not a lick.
But hold on, we could let's talk about the opposite side of this. Let's talk about the opposite side of isolating. What about attachment? People who just attach themselves to you, and all of a sudden it's like you feel like you have a shadow because you get up to go to the store, they want to go up, they want to come. You try to do this, they want to pick you up from work, they want to drop you to work. You're going here, they want to be there. What about attachment?
Let me share this with you guys. Not a non-romantic situation. She's been on this program, Christy. And we went to a women's conference on Saturday here in Georgia. And the speaker name is Joyce Meyer. She said, you ever have that person that you turn, you see, is that my shadow? And she's sitting right next to me. And I'm saying, all I hear myself is like I'm saying, I actually said, Jesus Christ. I said, oh my God. And she's sitting there, I was like, oh Lord. I am telling you, I have never seen anything like it in my life. Every turn I turn, she's there. And as the speaker said, what happens is that people like that, after a while, they take out everything out of you. Because it's not really about you, it's about them, it's about what they want. They're not really concerned about what you want. They want something from you while they do all of that. And so I experienced that on that level. But when I was married, it was a mutual thing. My husband and I were mutually that way. If you saw me, you saw him. Anywhere I went, he was there and vice versa. But it was not a forced thing. It was not something that was, demanded or whatever. Because not everybody can stand closeness for long. I don't have a problem with it. Some people don't want that kind of intimacy. But like you said, the thing is that the whole thing about isolation and stuff, that concerns me. Because for me, I'm asking, at what point would it happen to me that I didn't notice it was happening to me?
It doesn't happen to every woman. Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. But to the ones that it does happen to, it's a gradual thing.
It's a gradual thing.
You know what I mean? They push and see how far, as you stated earlier, what will you accept from me? And will you accept the verbal abuse? Will you accept me putting you down? Will you accept me criticizing what you look like, what you wear? You're not attractive. You're not this. You're not that. Will you accept that? Oh, okay. So next thing, you'll accept the push, the shove.
Right. Right.
Oh, you just curse me out and then I bring you flowers and then you're good. All right. Okay. So you'll accept the slap next time.
Well,
I'll bring you a special gift next time.
I have a female co-worker.
I'll graduate.
Curse me out and then bring me gifts. I wanted to tell her, but I want to say, let me tell you something. You have a gender issue, because me not like girls, you understand? So she thinks that it's okay for her to be rude to me and then bring me a gift. So what I did, I returned
passive aggressive, isn't it? Classic?
Huh?
Isn't that
passive aggressive? Passive aggressive.
Oh gosh, that was next on the agenda. Go ahead.
Right?
You know, I just said, go ahead.
Passive aggressive people are some of the most dangerous human beings. I could whoop them and just don't have no shame about whooping them. Because let me tell you what I found about passive aggressive people. Their biggest thing is to prove, especially if you are highly regarded as an intelligent person, the passive aggressive person's job is to quietly prove that you're not that smart. They will try to mess with your head, and you're not supposed to think they're doing it because they act like a simpleton. And their goal is to prove that they're smarter than you. And passive aggressive people mess with very intelligent people often, regularly, because their thing is, if I can outsmart this person, then I got something going on. But they do it in very subtle ways, and they make little nasty remarks. They'll say, I mean, I've been through it. They'll say things to you, and you're thinking, that's my friend, man. Now, their biggest goal is to take a bright, intelligent person and whittle them down and say, look, they're going like so smart. And I look a girl like me, mash them up. Mash up your body, come here, watch you a long time.
So hold on, I need this answer before, hold your thoughts, Sam. When it comes to attachment, as we spoke about just now, what's it, attachment or isolation? Fight or flight? What is the healthier thing to do in a situation like that? Try to work that situation, teach this person something different, hope that they change, or just get the hell out of there?
It depends on the severity of it. It might be something that they're trying to do and they're not good at it, and they really don't want to achieve it. But it's something they're trying. And you can see where you can have discussions and you realize this person doesn't really mean you any harm. That's a totally different thing. But
so you fight.
It's to leave.
Well, some of as you said that, Dr. Judith, some of the things in the relationships too, it's a little bit of compromise, because if there's an isolation situation as we discuss in here, it may not be on purpose as well. We haven't looked at how the person grew up. If they grew up a certain way, where they was alone all the time, and now there's, it could go two ways. One is they want to cling on to the person and isolate everyone else out of it, or they may just say, "Look, you go your way, and I need to be isolated for a little time."
But isolation is not always negative. It depends on what the purpose is. What is the isolation meant? To lock you away from other people, to keep you primarily with that person and nobody else. That's unhealthy. But there's a certain amount of isolation that is good for a relationship. You keep certain people in a relationship will learn to keep certain people away from their relationship. It's healthier. You have to have that wisdom. What?
Lucy said, "Get the hell out of Dodge."
What she said?
But if the person who's isolating is building up an abusive behavior, then it definitely is get the hell out of Dodge as soon as possible.
That's what I'm saying.
When you will see it, I'm sure you'll see some kind of sign. There'll be some kind of gradual
multiple signs.
To it. But I just wanted to throw in.
Isolation is good. It's healthy. But
I wanted to throw in
the motive.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's the motive. It's what is the purpose behind it? What are they trying to achieve? And like you said, Sam, and that's very important. A lot of people who come from families that are very close get into relationships and they want a close relationship with the person they're involved with. And they don't see it as isolation. They just see it as, well, that's the way I grew up. When you love people, you draw close to them.
But that's the other side, the attachment part I spoke about now.
Right.
It's okay. There are those who would isolate people from their family and say, well, where they start to create resentment, well, I don't want to go over there because of your auntie so-and-so. I don't like her. She don't like me. And I don't see why you going if I'm not going. So they try to plant that poison and make you stay away from your family.
Right. I have an issue with that because I think And I've said it several times in the recent past. If somebody really loves you, they want you to be extremely close to your family. They want you to have healthy relationships, parents, siblings, all of that. They don't want you to be, on the outs with your family. That doesn't make you healthy. So how can you be healthy for him or her? If you're not healthy with your family.
Diane Martin said, it's a red flag. And if you ignore the red flags, be ready to embrace the heartache that is sure to come.
Well, you know what happened? When a man isolates a woman, I'll say, because I don't have to general term, but I use this generalization. The average woman, when a man isolates her, what do you think the first thing she feels?
Loved.
Okay. I'm special.
He doesn't want me out of his sight.
Yes, he doesn't want to share me with anyone. And so she started build up this romantic thing. And that's how the guy, now if he really is sinister, that's how you get her. That's how you mess up her mind. But like I said, there are people who love and want to be around you and want to be close to you. But when people tell you can't go see your auntie, you can't go see your uncle,
you can't go out with your friends. Oh my God!
No, that is not healthy.
We have a problem.
I personally who want to tell you,
wouldn't want to go nowhere with anybody.
It has some people who want to tell you, "Oh, I don't like this friend you have. I don't think you should hang out with them." The way they determine who your friend, is like they look at all your friend and say, "Yeah, well, work with these here. This other batch, I know about them day, but and they want to get in a situation." But before we run away, I wanted to throw this because I know the topic it switches. I had a supervisor once. We worked in a medical facility. This ages ago, and he went to one of the floors and really went ape. he just went off inside there. So he came down, and after a couple he cooled down and everything. And where I worked with him was a pharmacy. So a lot of the different companies that they would purchase products from, they would have their representatives come and give us things like promotional pens and these little pads and little stress these little marketing stuff. Mm-hmm. So he kind of so he went to where we had all the pens and stuff. He said, I need to go upstairs and give them some peace offerings. He said, he went buck wild with him upstairs, so he had to go out. He said, yeah, I think I need to get some peace offerings. Let me go upstairs and just give everybody a nice little pen.
That's similar to what Dr. Judith said in terms of the co-worker bringing her flowers after being verbally abusive or whatever it is Dr. Judith said. And that, in a sense, when somebody realized that they did in fact overstep their boundaries or that they were wrong, that's where that peace offering comes into place. But if it becomes a habit, then that's where an issue really would take place. Let's not let me acknowledge Wondret's comment. He said first we talk about the licking, the hitting, and now followers. Anybody here ever had to deal with a stalker?
No.
Or dealing with a stalker, is that another situation where you fight or you take flight?
Well, I tell you an interesting story. When I lived in Florida, there was a gentleman that I worked with. He was an officer. I worked in a prison. And he used to follow me. And I didn't realize that at first. But he had such a gift of slickness that he would convince me that I was imagining it. And one night, and I rented a house from him. And that was a mistake because he had a key for the house. And I was out one Saturday night in Miramar, get back, it was in Miami, went back down Homestead area, went back home. And when I went in, there was a stuffed animal on the floor. And I'm saying to myself, how the heck that got on the floor? Because I know when I left, it was on the shelf. And when I saw it, I got frightened immediately. But then I calmed down and I called him. He answered the phone so quickly. and you could hear him smiling. I said to Mr.
hear him
Blouse and
smiling.
skirt boy, play with me. So I said to him, I said, Sam, not you, Sam.
Sam was okay.
I said, Sam, somebody came into the house tonight. Oh, I don't know. What do you mean? And I told him I saw the stuff that on the floor, but he was still smiling. And I said, and he said, Friday finally said, no, it wasn't me. And I said to myself, so he was like, you want me to come over? I was like, I won't tell you about your butts. You're messing with me. And
well, he wanted to come over and provide security.
Security. That's what he was setting himself up
for. You know what he did? You know what he did? And he would come by the house, apparently. I used a line that he had outside, and I didn't add a dryer, but I just wanted to hang. And then thief one of my baggy.
You laughing at that? That's sickening.
He stole one of them. Listen to me. Then Sunday, that was a Saturday night that thing happened.
Don't take me wrong. It's not sickening that he stole your own, you know. I'm just saying it's sickening that an individual steal someone's underwear. I'm not saying that it's sickening because he steal yours.
Well,
because I don't know what I would have done in the situation if it was your. I don't know. So I'm just saying, you know, it's all right. Go on back.
I understood why he stole it. Okay. Anyway, the next morning, he had a car accident that just about totaled the car he was driving. And you know what he said? Basically, he was saying, if I never mess with this woman, the car wouldn't crash. I thought it was the funniest thing. So that is one night I was headed home and he drove before me in a rented car. That's after he crashed the car. He drove before me, and when we got to the toll booth, the toll booth going down, when we got there, he turned his head like this. I said, this is a blouse and skirt boy, follow me. But it didn't last much longer. It did. I would catch him at work. We worked in dorms, they call them. I'd be in my dorm, and I would turn around, because he was 6'5", big guy. And I would be, and all of a sudden I turned and see my girl. See it? So that's the closest I got to stalking. But.
So let me I didn't make a comment on this passive aggressive thing. I dealt with an individual one time who they insisted on us never arguing. They don't want the argument, but they would whisper you to death. Literally whisper you to death. They don't want to argue, they don't want to get loud, but they sit there and they be like, I don't know what you told me. You're gonna say when you're gonna
that's a psycho.
And it came to the point where I'm like, okay, all right, yeah. So what you intend? Well, yeah, you're gonna test. You barely even hearing what they're saying, they're just whispering. To the point, I walked out of the room, I went into the next room, and I turned the television on. And God as my witness, even with that television up, volume up here, I was hearing them. And then they come outside and stood there while the TV is on. Well, yeah, you're going to turn on the TV. You try to ignore me, and you're just going to send this.
That's a psychopath.
So then they will say that they're not aggressive. But that in itself that's aggression if I've ever seen it. Passive aggression. And then we also have these individuals who they act as if you overreacting for being upset.
Right.
Being upset at them for something that they did to you. Now they're upset with you.
Yes.
What kind of madness is this? Anybody ever had that situation where somebody tried to twist a story around and make you feel guilty because you're complaining about something they did?
Yeah. They're never wrong. It's always somebody else.
Yeah, I've had those types of situations. You say one thing and they had to come back at something for you, and it's logically, if somebody has a problem with me and they say, I have this problem, I will just receive it. Like, okay, I'll either I'm gonna do better, I'll work on it, or what have you. But you have those that you just extend, hey, I have an issue with this. and somehow they had to find something right away to fly back at you, which defeats the purpose. Because
I call it spotlighting. They take the spotlight off of themselves and they put it on something else.
Yeah, but when you do that, you can't really have real growth because
you can't. But they don't want to
you're
grow.
expecting if your partner that you're working with is seeing some fault that you need to, something you need to improve on, then just receive it and say, okay, I need to improve on this. But now when you're going to say, how are you going to tell me this and you just do so, then you're not trying to grow. What you're trying to do is you're mudslinging for no reason. And you can't grow from that mudslinging.
But that's somebody trying to control you. They have no desire to have a healthy relationship or healthy conversation. They just want to control you, and they want you to look at the bad guy. And anybody do what Curtis was saying earlier. Anybody do that. That should be flight. That should be flight.
I think that is an automatic. Let me get my tickets.
No, that's not flight. You have to put out of our misery.
We're my ticket agent.
How about pushing your buttons?
Oh yeah.
They know what upsets you, but yet still they come there and they push it and they push it and they push it, and then when you explode, they say, "Look at you! Look at you! Why you can't have any behavior? Why you like that?" They know what upsets you. They come and they stand up on your corn. They stand on your corn, and when you start to scream, they say, "What are you screaming about? Why are you so loud?" And they know they're standing up on your corn, But they know you have a corn on your right foot, and that's the one they come and
that is what the person had. Remember, we saw the alligator the other day, and everybody leaning on the alligator.
And when he snapped,
yeah. But the good thing with that, Curtis, that part there, my son is very good at that. My son is very good at it. But the thing is that when you turn it around on them, it's a different story. And that's what I practice doing with people like that.
Diana says she's dealing with a coworker like that right now.
Who's that?
Diana.
Okay.
They're never wrong. Never wrong.
No. Never wrong. Never, ever wrong. So, okay, manipulative people, I think we would call those, right? The ones who push the buttons and try to manipulate you into behaving a certain way.
Even the passive aggressive are manipulative.
All of it is manipulation.
Passive aggressive.
Yes. And trying to manipulate the situation by
they have a primary or secondary gain. There's something that they're looking to get. So it's manipulation.
Okay, and Diane talk about the ones who are never, ever wrong, which brings up narcissism. Somebody talk about that for me. Narcissistic individuals.
Do you know the story of narcissism? What do you know where that story came from?
Not really.
You know about the Karin?
Narcissus. Greek mythology? Is it Greek?
Yeah. And basically it talk about this guy who it's a Greek mythology. But mythology or not, it's real. But what the story is that he was walking by a lake and he saw himself. And the beauty of himself drew him to the lake and he fell in. So he fell in love with himself. And so is a Greek mythology. So the idea is that narcissists fall in love with themselves. They are, everything is about them. Everything is inward. There's nothing.
I met one here in Florida. I met one in Florida, and not they're varying degrees, I would say, mild, but hard to have a conversation with because he always somehow comes back around to self, that type of person.
Oh yeah, so
otherwise a nice person.
Oh yeah, enough about me. Tell me, what do you think about me?
What I wanna, before we run away, what I want to find out are the issues we're talking about. Can these be also traits, meaning that it's not a dominant part of you.
Right,
Could
right.
it just be like you have a little bit of it somewhere inside of
We
you?
all have a little bit of narcissism.
That's why you decide to fight for the relationship rather than run from it.
Right. We all have a little bit of narcissism. We all have a little bit of psychosis.
There's a little hint of this and a little hint of
We all
that.
have a little bit of something.
But enough about you. What about me?
But listen, I was coming from Montego Bay one in the 90s. I'm at the airport and I'm walking and and you couldn't tell me nothing, couldn't tell me something in the heart, you understand? I'm walking in my red linen dress with my gold dress shoe, sandal, and I'm with my suitcase and I'm pulling my suitcase. And I was putting on a bit of a performance, I admit that. I put some extra stride in a step now.
You got bougie.
You nearly broke a hip.
Bougie. You got very bougie.
No, not a bougie, but just let me tell you, to be honest,
feeling yourself. You were feeling yourself.
Sweet.
That's what the 20-year-old.
I was feeling myself.
You was feeling yourself.
Yes, I was. Very, very much so. So I go. So I notice this guy. Look at me. He's probably about 6'4", very attractive guy, Jamaican. I could tell. But he looked like he mixed with Indian and brown skin. And it's not my favorite set of people, brown skin people, all right? So anyway, I take my time and I go over to realize he's watching me, you know. I go over to the bar. No, me no drink. So here we go. Can I have a ginger ale, please? Listen, Judith, you're Indian. Anyway, we get me ginger ale. You know that man walk up to the bar. You know what that man said to me? Me no bother. I didn't but here. I hope you didn't think I came over here because of you. Mr. Markside. That was his introduction to me. He hoped that I didn't think him over there because I was over there. That is total narcissism.
So how long did you stay engaged in that conversation?
We talked for a little while, but I wasn't really interested.
But it worked. It worked.
No. Because let me tell you something. He was let me tell you something. Handsome.
The line worked. You took notice of all of that.
It didn't work because the moment he did that, I was like,
hello still works.
Wait, hold up. So he couldn't even bring a little sarcasm. He probably was being sarcastic with you, Dr. Judith.
Sarcastic.
He probably just come and say, I'm not coming over here because you're here. So,
listen, I don't
would
know
have
why
been
he said
insulted.
it. It's self-involved. And he gave me his phone number.
Oh,
and I
you
never,
took it. And you took it.
Him.
But you took it.
It doesn't matter because I didn't call him. I didn't get the bait.
The play that he set up on quarterback, it worked for him.
It did not work.
He may not have scored the touchdown, but the play worked.
Listen, it didn't work. Listen. There was no touchdown, no touch up, nothing.
No,
he annoyed me. He annoyed me immediately.
That was an untouched play, my brother.
Listen, let me tell you what bothered me.
He didn't get to the end zone.
Let me tell you what bothered me. I'm saying to myself, man, here you come on. I mean, he looks this and you can't do better than that. No, star. Me know something. Let me tell you something. Me know some guy 5'8". Come to me, man, and him say. And my heart just go, what? And this big tall man, you can't do better than that. Listen, I went to a club one time in New Rochelle, and I met this guy. And let me tell you something, he's about 5'8". And let me tell you something, when that man look across the room and look at me, I feel mashed up. You understand? I just a smile. And after a while, see me, like, who am I looking at? Before I left that club that night, that man and I danced. And he and I had one of the, this was just about, besides Lord Jesus, that's the greatest love of my life. And he was not a sweet looking man, he's not a handsome fellow, but there was a connection there. But what started it was a smile. And he never tried to tell me no foolishness.
So what you're trying to say, Dr. Judith, that his smile game was so on point that he get a dance.
A dance, chap?
Gentlemen, learn to smile.
So let me talk,
guys.
let me talk about language here for a moment.
Listen, guys.
Yeah, Karin?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Blessings, Doctor. It was nice of you to step through and
I'm looking at 4:15 in the morning. So.
And bless us with your experience,
My experience.
of smiling gentlemen.
Lord Jesus. Go ahead.
A smile can take you all the way to a touchdown.
Only
That's
one
right.
touchdown. Only one.
All right.
Learn to
Good
smile,
night, Dr.
gentlemen.
Judith.
Learn
Thank
to
you so
smile.
much for joining
Yeah,
us.
man. Take
It's
care.
always a pleasure having you on board.
Same here, man. Same here.
All right. Good night. So, yeah, people, let's talk for a second about language. And when I say language, I'm talking with the use of certain words in a relationship to ridicule. Words like lazy, stupid, not stupid. I'm saying it like we say home. Stupid, asshole, jackass, bitch. Or another one that people tend to think is harmless. You're just like your mother. Let's talk about the use of certain language in that relationship that some people do not realize the harmful effects of using derogatory language. Or
Trigger.
sometimes just a word. A trigger word, as Karin likes to call it.
My trigger is bitch. I don't know if in another life something happened. I haven't traced it yet. But for the longest time, decades long, my trigger is bitch. Used from a man in my direction. One man tried me in a vehicle. We're driving along. He was upset about something I said, and that came out of his mouth. That was the first and last time I traveled on a date without any cash. I had my debit card and all of that, but I had
Bex
no
money.
cash. I just asked him to kindly just pull over for me, please. Get out, and I walked about 1.5 miles, 2 miles up the road to the nearest ATM. That's first and last time. No, don't try me with that. No, it's one of the most belittling terms. You know me, a female dog. Night. Don't try me with that.
So
anyone who says it, I'll take you on. Promise you.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So now, if it's used as a term of endearment,
no, don't accept it. Bitch is not the term of endearment.
In today's culture, whether we like it or not, but in today's popular culture, a lot of female. I'm not.
Man to woman. Remember,
a lot of females use it as a term of endearment within their circle.
To each other.
Yes.
Man to
hold on. Even within that, men who let me finish. Mm-hmm. Men use the term towards their female counterparts, friends, and whoever. Hold on. Use it in a loving fashion where that woman is not upset. But when it's said in a derogatory way towards a stranger, even though one of these same people use it as a term of endearment, if it's used towards them from a stranger in a derogatory form of fashion, it then becomes offensive.
It's offensive to me from any man to me. Whether it's a personal relationship, work, acquaintanceship, it doesn't matter. Don't use it to me.
Well, you're not in that popular culture, which is also understood.
Because I've even heard, especially like women amongst themselves,
mm-hmm.
And these are more like what you would consider professional women, respectable women, but when they by themselves, closed doors or in a situation where it's not necessarily public, and they calling each other bitch. So I said, okay.
Curtis hit it.
I guess it's this type of thing.
If a man is angry, bitch, oh God, to the same woman that you said would be in that relationship with him, and if he's angry with it and comes at you like that, believe me, it's gonna set it off. Believe me.
That it will set it off for you.
For me and quite a number of women. Okay. Tonality of things means a lot.
The
tone of how it is said means a lot. But for me, it's any situation. Where that came from, I cannot tell you. But it's been decades long for me like that. I cannot stand that word.
All right.
Earlier on, Karen hinted on, she didn't hint, but she spoke about her experience with lies and her total disdain for people lying in a relationship, which for me is another red flag, because in the past I have ignored lies. And sometimes where an individual just come to you and create a personality that they somehow think that you are gonna like. They create a fake persona, very much different from who they are. And they create this, and then over the time you get to realize that this was in fact a lie. Is that a situation, Sam, where you say, well, okay, yeah, they lied at one time? Or do you now chalk this up as a character trait and say, well, this is something I don't want to deal with, where you just exit yourself from that situation? Or do you stay and make apologies for the individual?
It depends on the level of it, because I guess for me, when I understand a person a little bit more, we don't really fully understand each other. But let's say you understand a person to a point that lying might just be a minor trait of this person. Because and I'll tell you why it's funny, but I'll tell you why. It would be that they were lying for something superficial.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a life. If it's a life and death thing, they may not go that route. But they might, if they didn't want to hurt your feelings about something, they might just throw a white. It's more like what you call white lie. So it's not really like, okay, hey, you're busy, you could talk to me right now, and you really feel like talking to the person. I'm busy, I'm real busy. Yeah. Let me talk later.
Sam, I'm talking the kind of lie. Now, you in the music business, Sam, right?
Yeah.
Imagine yourself as an artist manager, and an individual comes to you and say, I'm a singer. And you say, really? They put on a tape and they say, listen to this. And you say, but wait, you have some pipes. This, you know what? Let me take this here to this record company over there and introduce them to you as a new artist and whatever, because I have some connections. And you take that tape and you take it to the record company. Let me drop the hypothetical situation. Let me tell you about a situation that happened with me. Right? And you take that tape and you carry it to the record company and you said, I have a brand new artist. Yo, this person is clean, the voice is fresh. They say, yeah, I heard all of that before. I heard all of that. No, man, listen to this. Boom! And you put it in and they say, oh, wow, Celine Dion. This person actually give you a tape of Celine Dion and telling you that is them singing. And you now take up the tape and take it to the record executive and they look you in your face and say, Celine Dion. And I now have to play it off. Wasn't Celine Dion, they said, but I had to play it off and say, oh, yeah. That is actually her doing a cover of the song. So I'm trying to show you how close she songs to the artist. Luckily, I'm a good liar myself and I could think on my feet. That is how I had to get myself out of that situation, because this individual conned me into believing that they're a singer and they give me a tape of another artist, not realizing that I did in fact have connections, and I took this tape to a record executive and almost made myself look like an ass.
That's not the funny part. You admitted that you're a good liar yourself. I
had to get. But that's the point, because even if he says he's a good liar, I don't think it's a negative, or it's used in a sense of, that's my point. It's not like you're using it in a way you're hurting, like you're going to hurt people or you're going to get people killed and all that kind of stuff. Or when you had to be
I wasn't deceiving. I had to get myself out of the situation. So being a quick thinker on my feet, I was able to backpedal and say, well, oh yeah.
Right. So it was like a save. You had to save the situation. So, but yeah, that could happen. That could happen. I mean, you hear people, you hear demos, And the reason why an A&I, let's say you meet someone for the first time and you express that you're a singer, they kind of say, look, well, let me hear something right now. Because at least, even if there's something on a CD or a cassette, if you still have cassettes, right, if you could listen to the person right on the spot, then you can really tell, you know, this person can really sing, you know, and then it helps to add more, you know,
credibility to the individual as an artist.
To the thing. But there have been times where it was just what was on the CD or the cassette, and then they ran with that and didn't even say to the person, well, let me hear what you could do.
How about Karin, diminishing somebody's accomplishments in a relationship where, let's say on your job you get an award for whatever it may be in your job environment, and you bring it home and this person say, wow. So they give you a piece of paper, huh? All right. So you're going to hang that up in here? All right, go ahead, yeah.
I haven't necessarily dealt with that, but I have dealt with having like an award ceremony and having someone just completely ignore the fact that I had a big award ceremony coming up, a big event or a graduation or something like that. Just ignore that. You know, and I guess it's more about that person. You know what I mean? It's more about how that person is feeling. Maybe they feel somewhat diminished by your accomplishment. Possibly, I don't. You know, that would be a Dr. Judith situation right now. I think sometimes they just feel as if you're going beyond them. If it's a relationship.
So they try to bring. They try to what? Bring you back down.
They haven't learned to feel happy for someone else.
I mean, I'm thrilled for anything, and a friend, acquaintance, anybody around me accomplishes something. I'm absolutely thrilled. I mean, thrilled. It doesn't matter, you know, I don't compare myself to what somebody else is doing or think that makes me less. But some people do. Some people, especially even in relationships, even if it's a loving relationship, may feel as if, you know, you're going too fast, leaving them behind possibly. And I think they feel like, you know, ooh, you know, does that mean that person is going to be going on to such and such and I won't be able to keep up, or educationally I'm not able to keep up with him or her? And I think that's a real thing in relationships, even just like money differentials, you know, he makes so much more, she makes so much more. It can create problems if people don't know how to talk about it and say this, you know, I really need to up my game, you know, and even to themselves, I really need to up my game if this is how I'm feeling, you know.
Well, interesting enough, when that happens, let's say I'm waiting on an opportunity and that happens, somebody gets something. I'm not mad at that person, but now it's inspiring to me to work harder.
Up your game.
It's inspiring to me to, you know what, if this person could do it, I think I could make it happen. But I think, you know, you're also in a if you're in a competitive environment. So, but I've seen situations where something nice is happening for a person, and then you might just have certain individuals in the same department.
Oh, work-wise.
That kind of
let's bring it home though. Let's bring it home. How you
at home. It shouldn't be happening at home. It should not be happening at home. And if you really find yourself in a position where you feel, you know, threatened or diminished, probably a better word, then you need to do something with your stuff rather than make that person not. You have to be able to celebrate each other. What in the world? You have to celebrate each other. And if you can't do it, then something's really wrong with. Take a look inside and see what's wrong, and work that out before you lose that relationship. You know.
So let me ask you also. I need a consensus on this. This conversation, I'm not going to lie about it. When it was brought up by Karin, I was a bit apprehensive in taking on this subject matter tonight for personal reasons. One, if you all notice, I'm asking, but I'm not talking a lot because I still have to protect the guilty where my life is concerned. So I'm not personalizations here. I personalized tonight, but there's so much more I could have gotten into deeper where this conversation is. But I decided to sort of lay low on this tonight. And based on what we have discussed thus far, I'm going to seriously tell you all, or just under the question of red flags, we discussed isolation, jealousy, attachment, stalking, boundaries, with passive aggressive behavior, pushing buttons, manipulative behavior, language, lies, the 11 diminishing accomplishments. That's 11 topics just under red flags.
Mhm.
There's so much more that we can get into where this conversation is concerned. And what I am requesting tonight, if we can bring this topic back at a later date for part 2, because there is so much more that we can get into where this subject matter is concerned. And I don't think that we could finish talking about this tonight.
And I don't think that people need to be fearful about talking to each other about it. That's just my viewpoint. I don't think you need to put names or put situations out there that people can identify easily and get offended and defensive or offended. It's just life. It's just situations that we've experienced, and it doesn't need to be outlined. You know, you can just speak generically about experiences. I don't think you need to feel fearful of having discussions. I'm just not. We can talk about anything.
So Dr. Curtis, they call it Dr. Curtis tonight. No, I no pun intended. When you say you were a little bit apprehensive, you felt that you would have been giving more personal.
Yes, I didn't want to go in that direction, to be honest with you. I didn't want to go in that direction. So I was like,
it is a tough it's a tough subject matter, because there's a lot of sensitive areas on a general, even just general, because we've all, I guess, at our age group, that many of us, we've experienced
35 and over, right?
So many things that there's just a lot of wounds.
We have life experiences. A lot of life experiences.
You have wounds that are still healing. So it some stuff you're not too crazy to talk about. So I get it. But I think tonight it was so far cool thing.
Yeah, it can go into a part 2 and go into areas that we haven't touched yet.
Touches yet.
Definitely.
Oh, all right. I am glad that you agreed to that. So that's Sam. What's your take on that? In terms of discussing on this subject,
I really want to hear from the chat, though. I want to hear from the chat, and
except for Diana and Lucy and
Diana and Lucy is on, but let's find out if the chat would like us to
give us some feedback. Let us know if this is a good topic to come back with as a part 2.
Let me look at the YouTube here. So right now it's showing that we have 2 likes. Oh no, 3. We have 3 likes on YouTube. So we want folks on YouTube to hit the like button, and we have probably 1 like. Oh, it looks like we have 2 likes on Facebook. So we need to get some more likes. So let's hear from them.
And what I urge people to do, pass this information on. Maybe you know someone who's suffering silently. Maybe someone who's just not realizing the situation that they are in. Get them a hint. Check this program out. And maybe something that just, we just need to jog their memory, to jog their brain and make them realize that they're heading down a wrong path, and that they just need to make a little shift in terms of their direction, in terms of their focus. And that little shift may straighten out a lot of things for them in their lives. So pass the information on, share the show, and hopefully someone else can benefit from it as well. So now, since we are in agreement, Sam, that we will come back with a part 2 on this, let me just get some closing thoughts on this. I would have loved Dr. Judith to be here on this one, but how should somebody approach, let's say, changing their mindset, to attract better and accept better from individuals in their life, how should they approach situations like these? How should they change their mindset so that they can do better, accept better, be better?
Identifying your weaknesses is real important. I mean, be real. Even if they're like to literally take up that mirror and, talk to yourself. Identify the weakness. If you know, you talked about attachment issues, and we talk about the stalking. I don't stalk, and I do not accept stalkers. And you gotta confront the issue head on and figure out what is best for you, And if you see, as you said, you've used the term red flags several times tonight. If you see these red flags that in your heart you cannot deal with certain traits. I'm not talking about little traces of things like Sam had said earlier. We all have a little bit of everything. Well, not everything, but a little bit of things. If you identify things in someone that you are thinking of settling down with or dating, let's just start with the dating process. If you identify that red flag right away, it's a red flag for you. Maybe an orange for somebody else or a yellow for somebody else. But for you, it's a red. So it's a core issue that you can't deal with. Nice to meet you. Have a great life. Take care. Be well. Bye. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not suggesting that you do that with every situation or blow people off just for one or two things. But if there are core issues that you cannot deal with, why pretend? I've always wondered why people pretend in their relationships and deal with things for years, knowing damn well this is toxic for you. This is unhealthy for you. This is making you feel diminished, less than. This person doesn't make you feel good. Get out of that situation. It's not really that difficult. It's just that we feel a need to drag things out. Why? Those are wasted years, wasted time. Why? There's no need to for me.
Mr. Archer.
Yeah. I was listening to a radio program many moons ago, and the radio station was WWRL, and they were talking about how do you change that path you're on, and one of the top actresses. Do we say actress anymore? Because they have the ladies are still, they're called actors today.
Either one.
So I don't know that it's but anyway. And she called in. We did. What it was too is that the host knew who she was, but of course they didn't say to the listening audience who it was. And I remember her saying that she had gotten to a point where she needed to make a change, and that whatever morning it was when she had that epiphany, she just was naked in front of a mirror, and when she could stand her nakedness then she decided to talk to God, and things started changing after that. That reminded me of a saying, to thine own self be true. I guess she needed to physically stand her nakedness. Many of us probably can't stand our nakedness. Like when you're naked, you instead of looking for imperfections, we should look for positivity
attributes
and say, you know what, this is me.
Yes.
And when you can receive that and start to be true to yourself. And I think it sort of starts at that, somewhere in there. It's like a new beginning, and Because some, people are quick to say mindset, change your mindset, and changing the mindset is part of it. But you can change your mindset because you want to, lose weight, and you change your mindset today, and don't remember that you had to change your mindset again tomorrow, and keep, So the same way you had to take a bath every day, you had to comb your hair every day.
No. Go ahead.
Not necessarily physically here. We're not, not literally and everything. I know you may not have a comb for what you have going on there, but the point is that nature will take its course, and you have to plot your course as well. And there will be times when things will just go a little bit away from where you need it to go. When you're driving and it's windy, and you're on the highway and you feel the wind trying to take you out your lane when you're driving. You ever feel that before? The wind is so hard and you're just like, wait, hold up. We had to stay in the lane here. I've had a few of those. And it's sort of like the same thing where you have to focus and like really, okay, this is what I need to work on. And you work on that. And if you fall off the track, okay, get up again and go at it. And I had to learn to take criticism. Someone might give you a good tip. Sam, you need to brush your teeth. Start brushing your teeth. If your breath knocking everybody out and somebody was nice to not come and tell you, hey, you need to kind of work on a little situation. If somebody's kind enough to say, hey, you need to work on your hygiene. If somebody come here, hey, before I finish, wait, let me finish asking the question before you answer. There's some people as you start asking the question, they don't wait until they get to the end, they just answer you right away. Let me get to the end of the question so you could think and then answer. So there'll be so many various things that all of us have to work on. And the mouth being stink is not literally. I just using an example. I don't want nobody running around thinking. I was thinking of the place. But anyway, that's my 2 cents for the topic. And yes, I do welcome, just like Miss Diana there and Mr. Wondred, that we can definitely do a part 2 to this topic, and I think it will be beneficial for our dedicated, loyal audience.
Well, for me, I don't know how much precautionary measures I could advise people on tonight, but what I can say, Carol said I was more than 2 cents, it's more like 4 cents you give in terms of your closing. I don't know how much or how many preventative measures I could present as someone who have made a lot of mistakes, and sometimes experience is in fact the best teacher. Not until you stump your toe, then you can tell somebody, hey, careful, don't walk over there, because you walk there and you stump your toe. But sometimes as novices, naive people, young people in relationships, in marriages and whatnot, we need to take advice from those who have walked the road. Because sometimes when you're young and, like I say, you're in love, you think you know it all. You swear you have it all, you figured out, and you haven't walked a mile yet. It's good to take counsel, seek counsel from the elders, because they have walked that path, and they can, in fact, enlighten you or caution you where certain pitfalls may lie along that journey. So it's nice to take counsel of the elders and learn something, and you don't always have to learn from experience. You do not need to touch fire to know that it's hot. If someone who has been burnt tell you the fire hot, you need to listen and not go there and find out for yourself. And that's what got a lot of us into situations that we are in, because we don't listen. There's a saying, fools trod where wise men dare to go. Right? The wise men know better. But fools just come along and be like, no, man, I could go on. All right. Some of us just have to learn the hard way. So my advice in terms of some of what was mentioned earlier on, in terms of what I believe when we spoke about boundaries, I say, and I agree, set your standards early in a relationship so that nothing comes as a surprise somewhere down the road. If something upsets you, you don't like certain things, lay it out. I'm meeting a lot of people now where they say, I don't like cursing. Please don't curse at me when you talk. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I cuss a lot. I know when to cuss and when not to cuss, but with certain people, they just straight up say, no, don't curse when you're talking to me. That's an adjustment for me. But at least I know where that individual is concerned. I have to curb my speech. And if I know that I can't stop cussing, then I will limit my speech with that individual, because I know every so often you're going to get an expletive. So set your standards early, set your boundaries early in any relationship that you get into. This would avoid a whole lot of heartaches and disappointments down the road. And people, for young people, be careful, be careful, be careful. I'm telling you, be careful who you procreate with. Don't get so caught up in love and figure, I love her. Careful who you procreate with, because you're stuck with this person for a lifetime. Don't think you can walk away. No, you're stuck with them for a lifetime. And from people to 18 years, no. You know, a lot of these kids ain't growing up at 18 years and disappearing. Well into their 20s, they're still around. And once they're around, the other person around. Birthdays, weddings, I did put an S on that. Weddings, christenings, all of these birth celebrations and whatever it might be, you're still there around that person. Careful who you procreate with, because sometimes you're stuck with this individual for the rest of your life. And we're asking now, how did I get myself here? You put yourself in that. You put yourself in that, because somewhere along the line, your mother might have tell you, that girl ain't no good, you know, but you ain't listen. Your boys might have tell you, hey, yo, she bout it. That girl, they bout it, but you ain't listen. You just go ahead. And I'm not saying just women, I'm talking to the women too. With men, be careful who you procreate with. You're stuck with this person for a lifetime. Don't turn around and say, I wish I did, I wish I knew, I wish I could have, should have, would have. Too late. All right, people? So I hope that we were able to bring you all some good information tonight, some informative information, and that somewhere along the line, somebody's memory got jogged and they realized that they got to take a deeper look into their own situation and what it is they're doing. Thank you all so much for joining us. Peace and blessings.
Bless.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, I have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chatt? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chatt. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chatt.
Showtime. Hi, we are the Henry Boys. I'm Joshua.
I'm Daniel. And I'm Simone.
We're inviting you to read a copy of our father's book, Tiny Little Spider and Nursery Rhyme.
Hey, what do you mean a father's book? This is my book. I'm on the cover. Me, Imani.
But let's not forget our sister Imani started writing this book.
And our dad finished it. So get a copy.
For yourself or for your child.
Tiny Little Spider, a Nursery Rhyme by Curtis B. Henry and Imani Smith. Now available on Amazon.com.
With me, Imani. Spider Boy.